Good morning, friend. Welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Kat, and if you're new here, we've been baking our way through some of my best friends are cookies by Emelia Jackson. We have just made some banana bread, and I've got an hour for that to bake, so I thought I would make the dough for the first recipe in the section that we are in, which we had to skip because it called for maple extract, and I had a lot of trouble finding that. So we are going to be making these maple shortbread leaves. I did get a very concentrated maple extract, so we're not going to be using as much of this as it does call for in the recipe, because this is about 4 times as strong as standard maple extract. So first up, we need 225 grams of butter, and we need 110 grams of maple sugar, that does smell like maple syrup. It's delicious. And it says that we need 1 teaspoon of maple extract. So I'm only going to put in 1/4 teaspoon of this. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we need to mix this first and then add the flour. So that's pretty well combined. So now we are going to add 380 grams of plain flour. And we're just going to mix this until a dough forms. So we've got a pretty good dough, and it says to chill this dough in the fridge for half an hour or so before you roll it out, but it is so cold here today that I am actually just going to roll it out immediately, and then because I've got my banana bread in the oven, I will let the rolled out biscuits chill before I bake them. Okay, so I've got 4 trays of cut out biscuits. The last one is one short, but that's fine. Which I have now popped in the fridge. I've got about 25 minutes left on my banana bread, and then I will bake up those biscuits. So what I'm just doing here, I want to use up the rest of that maple sugar because I don't think I'll use the little bit that I've got left. It's about 40 grams that I've got left in anything else. So I'm just weighing out my maple syrup and my maple extract. So I meant to do half a teaspoon. So I'm going to do about 1/8 of a teaspoon of this very strong maple extract. And then I've got 50 mils of maple syrup in here. And so I'm just going to weigh out this maple sugar, which is exactly 40 grams, because I need to add 150 grams of icing sugar, but I want to give this maple sugar a little bit of time to dissolve into the maple syrup. So what I'm going to do, I'll just give this a bit of a mix with a clean spoon or fork, because I just want to break up the lumps a bit, and then I'm just going to let this sit while everything else is going so that the sugar can start to dissolve into the liquid sugar. Maple sugar is a pretty fine sugar, so it would probably beat up without any problems, but I just thought I'd give it a bit of a head start while everything else is going on. So I don't think these will spread very much, so I'm just putting them onto the trays a little closer together. So I've got my oven set to 150 degrees, and we're just going to pop these in for 15 to 18 minutes. And I've just got this many left that I can't quite fit in, so I will bake these in a second batch. So that has dissolved together very nicely. So I'm just going to get the rest of the ingredients for the buttercream together. So I've got 50 grams of butter, which I'm just going to cut into a little chunk. And I did go out for a few hours. So my biscuits are definitely cold now, but I also did put this butter back into the fridge while I was out, so it is back to being cold. So I'm just going to let that sit for a bit before I try and mix it together. And we need 150 grams of icing sugar, but obviously I already put the 40 grams of the maple sugar in there. That was harder than it should have been. So I'm just going to add 110 grams of icing sugar. So that's smooth and combined. And it does say to put this into a piping bag and pipe it onto the biscuits, but I am just going to use a couple of teaspoons. And I am meant to get 16 completed biscuits in the leaf shape, but obviously mine are just round. So I will see how many I get, because I've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 23 completed biscuits, or will have, if I have enough icing to do all of them. So it says teaspoonfuls, so I'm just being a little bit stingy, because I would like to try and get all of these biscuits into sandwich biscuits. And if I can do the whole lot and have some icing left over at the end, then I can just go back and add a little more to whichever ones look like they need it. So they look pretty good. Let's give them a try. These are very nice. You can 100% taste the maple in them. They've got a pretty good balance of salty and sweet. The biscuit is nice and crisp. The cream isn't too overpowering. I think they're very, very nice. Thank you for being here with me today as we made, finally, these maple shortbread. If you would like, I'll pop another video here that you can enjoy between now and my next upload. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Can't wait to see you next time. Bye for now.